today's lesson, I'm going to show you 3 different concepts that made Wes Montgomery sound so great. And when you apply everything together, you can create lines that sound kind of like this. Alright, so the first concept that made Wes Montgomery sound so great was the idea of chord extensions. Oftentimes in our improvisations, we think about hitting the right notes over different chord progressions, and our improvisations end up sounding boring and correct, kind of like this. Instead of thinking about hitting the correct chord tones, Wes would often think about hitting the chord extensions of a chord. Take this line from his solo off Gone with the Wind. You'll notice it sounds super rich and colorful. That's because he's targeting the chord extensions being the 9, the 13, and oftentimes over minor chords, the 11th. Notice that this line has all of those chord extensions. Another way that Wes targets chord extensions is by playing arpeggios. You'll notice that he's not playing the arpeggios of our 2-5-1, but rather arpeggios that outline the extensions of that progression. Over the 2 chord, he's playing a major 7 arpeggio off of the flat 3rd, which gives us a minor 9 sound. Over the dominant chord, he's playing a diminished arpeggio off of the 3rd, which gives us a dominant 7 flat 9 sound. And then he jumps up to the 13th of our dominant chord, which also is part of that diminished sound and can be used in conjunction with our diminished arpeggios. And lastly, he plays a G major triad over our 1 chord, which gives us a major 9 sound. So if we combine all the ideas of playing chord extensions, we could get a line that sounds kind of like this. Okay, so the next concept that made Wes Montgomery sound so great is the idea of sequencing. For example, let's take this line from his famous solo on 4-on-6 from Smokin' at the Half Note. He takes this one idea, which is, by the way, a major 7 arpeggio built off the flat 3rd of our minor chord, and simply moves it through the changes of this tune. Another example comes from, again, his solo off Gone with the Wind, and sounds like this. He is taking another idea, in this case, but he's moving it through the changes to fit the quality of those changes. So instead of playing it over our minor chord, he's playing it over our major chord. One of the easiest ways to start implementing this idea into your improvisations is to think about the arpeggios that make the chord extensions happen from the previous section of this lesson. Say we had a 2-5-1 in the key of C. We learned from before that playing a major 7 arpeggio off the flat 3rd of our 2 chord will give us a minor 9 sound. Why not play that major 7 arpeggio for both the 2 and the 5 chord, and then move it simply to R1. So we're going to have a major 7 arpeggio off the flat 3rd of the 2, and then just move it to R1 major 7 arpeggio. Or over a turnaround progression, which pretty much happens in every jazz tune, we can sequence our arpeggios off of either the 2 or the 5 chord of these progressions. So the third and final concept for this lesson that made Wes Montgomery sound so great is the idea of guide tone lines. These are short and simple lines that move our line between two different types of chords. For example, here's a line from Wes. You'll notice how he hits the E flat in measure 1, and then resolves that later to D in measure 2. So the guide tone line for this 2-5-1 is then this. Once you have a guide tone line that moves you through your changes, you can create lines around it using arpeggios, or by using jazz language. Here's another example from Wes that shows more than one guide tone happening at once. We have two guide tone lines going on here, one from G sharp to G natural, and one from F sharp to F natural. So to demonstrate all the things that we worked on in our lesson today, I'm going to play over the first half of the great standard Gone with the Wind and demonstrate all the concepts that we covered today. If you would like the PDF and guitar profile for not only this etude, but every example in the lesson, then make sure to sign up for my Patreon, which you can find linked in the video description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about Wes Montgomery. If you would like more Wes Montgomery videos, then make sure to check out the video description, which I'll have a couple more of my concept videos that I did previously, including his method on block chord soloing. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to all the Patreons of this channel. Thank you everyone so much. You keep this going, and I very much appreciate you. And that's it for this one. And until next time, remember to always keep swinging. Thank you.